Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call the meeting to order and give a special welcome to our guest from Jasper County, another chairman to be of the Board of Commissioners, Mr. Bruce Henry. Thanks for coming. Good to see you. So it is July 23rd, 2024, 1 p.m. and this is our regular meeting of the Joint Development Authority of Jasper, Morgan, Newton, and Henry, and Walton. And we're meeting at the Newton County Water and Sewer Authority, Scott Edmonds Water Reclamation Facility at 10902 Shire Parkway, Social Circle. I'd like Mr. Owens, if he would, to give the invocation, and Mr. Hughes the Pledge of Allegiance.
Will do. Please stand by your heads. Heavenly Father, thank you for the opportunity to come before you today to ask your blessings and your guidance in conducting the business of these 4 counties. We ask you to bless all that are here who care about their counties. We ask you to bless both our state and federal governments. God be with us. We ask all these things in Christ's name. Amen. Amen. If we face the flag, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Owens and Mr. Hughes. The next item would be the approval or amendment to the agenda. Ms. Gray, you had some suggestions, I believe.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I've got 2 requests to amend the agenda. The first is to add a resolution that I sent to you this morning regarding a temporary access agreement for the Water Authority over a part of the Rivian site. And I would ask that be added in as agenda item number 9. And then the second amendment was just an ordering error on my part. We always do executive session after public comment. And so I'd ask that we amend the agenda to put it back in our regular order of things, such that we would amend the agenda that number 9 would be the resolution for the temporary access agreement, 10 would be public comment, 11 executive session, and 12 adjourn.
So moved.
Second. All right, there's a motion to make those adjustments to the agenda, and there's been a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, then we'll call for a vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say nay. Motion passes unanimously. So does everyone have those changes noted? So the next item would be approval of the minutes, regular session minutes from our regular meeting of June 25th, 2024, pages 2 through 6.
I move we approve the minutes as written.
Thank you, Mr. Hughes. There's been a motion to approve the minutes. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Mr. Owens. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for a vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Next, we will go to committee chairman reports, beginning with Park Management Committee, Mr. Bob Hughes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Takeda update, we really don't have anything fresh to bring to that. But if you look at towards the end of the meeting, we're going to talk about the quarter, the last ended quarter in review, and we'll have some updates on the Takeda at that point in time. For Meta, there is an agreement, and I'm going to ask you if
Commissioner. Yes, sir, this is a second amendment to our infrastructure agreement with Meta. We entered into the original agreement in 2021 as a part of the Bay Mare project. Under this agreement, we were to build a frontage road and to build basically a cul-de-sac at the bottom of Sewell. Many things have changed since that agreement was originally put in place, and this final amendment ties all that up and ties up all the obligations that the parties had to each other. It states that the JDA completed the frontage road, which is Dance Spring North Parkway, that it owes no further financial obligations to Meta, and Meta owes no other financial obligations to us on the frontage road. So the $1.5 million that Meta had given us as part of the bond closing for the frontage road is the JDA's to keep. We will not be returning that money. And then Meta also agreed to pay for the paving, the little portion of Sewell Road that we just paved. They agreed to reimburse us for that.
And we renamed Sewell Road.
And we renamed Sewell Road to Capacity Court. Yes, yes, to which they're very happy. So again, this is not agreeing to anything new. It's just tying up all the loose ends of what we've already accomplished and making sure that we've documented that the parties have no further obligations to one another other than what we've already done
And
before.
the good takeaway that I got out of that was the money that we had been holding in reserve is now freed up, the
Correct.
1.5 million. And also, Meta agreed to pay for the paving.
Correct.
Well, we
Up
had
to,
up to 45. I think we actually got it in for something less than that.
I move we approve the Meta agreement.
There's been a motion to approve. Is there a second? Second. Mr. Jordan, thank you. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Rivian update, we had a meeting before this meeting with representatives from Rivian, and went over and rode the site. And we got a site maintenance and security update that was from Andrew Capizzuto. And I'm gonna go ahead and read from it rather than try to paraphrase if I can. Rivian is implementing the agreed upon site maintenance and security plan and continues to make improvements to the site, which will ensure the company can go vertical immediately once it is ready. This continued work serves to help expedite their ability to go vertical when ready. Security measures: installing fencing, gates and Jersey barriers at vulnerable site entry points, relying on natural barriers, hills, woods, etc. for the rest of the site. And if you go by and look at the site, you'll see some of the fencing that they put up, and it looks like farm fencing. I mean, it's a wooden four-board farm, slanted, and it's got the wire backing and everything else. They plan to use farm gates, so the facility, when you look at it from the outside, is not going to quite look like the Meta compound that has the fencing that's all around it. There will be a different type of fencing. And the head of security, VP of security was there. And he basically said there are two ways that you can handle it. One, you can sit there and fortify it and have this big wall. The other one is make it blend into the environment. And that's the option that they're taking. So they've done installation of interior fencing around the ponds once that is completed. Posting a no trespassing signage and limited patrols on nights and weekends. And what they explained to us is that Clayco is there basically during the day, 8 to 5 days a week. And they sit there and patrol from that perspective, and they'll have limited patrols on nights and weekends that will go in and just make sure that the site is secure. Site maintenance and improvements. They've gotten a proposal to cut the grass. They're currently in negotiations. My understanding is they have completed negotiations with the local farmer to bale hay. So the pads will not likely be cut right away to allow for the continuation of growth on that. But all that area that's down there and some of the others, they're going to bush hog. They're going to start cutting that. And so from the appearance that you get when you look at the site, they're going to have a farmer that's sitting there cutting hay and baling it. Seeding and stabilization of the upper pad are ongoing. permanent structures and ponds 1, 2, 5, 6, 8, and 9. They're gonna move the AT&T fiber line to site perimeter. Walton EMC is bringing power to the site. They expect the installation of transformers to begin soon. The coordination to bring water and sewer to the site. Other outfall structures and pond improvements are ongoing. And they've created an email address for issues, comments, and any questions that may come up. And if you got a piece of paper and pencil, write it down. But it's Stanton Springs North, capital S, and capital N, at rivian.com. And we'll have that posted on our website.
Sure.
We'll do that, just make it easier for those of you that see that. That way, if you've got complaints about the way the site looks or anything, rather than come to us, you'll be able to go directly to the Rivian folks and send them your comments. But my takeaway, big takeaway from this, is we rode all around the site. It's about a 700 acre pad, upper and lower pads, and 1,300 acres of buffer. And really from just about any place around the perimeter, you're not gonna see anything but the top end of the paint building. And so instead of like the Hyundai plant, where you go down and you see immediately along I-16, you see these huge structures coming up, and nothing against Hyundai, I mean, it's loaded. But you're not gonna run into that at Rivian. And my comment was, it's the difference between South Korea and California. So, but that's my report on Rivian.
Could we might add to the movement? I know Mr. Evans and Mr. Bray had questioned the field across from Darrell Drive over there. That's not fit to cut hay, it's got too many bushes in it, but they won't bush on it.
It'd be nice if they would turn it over and plant.
They will. They're from what I understand in talking to the guy at Stanton Springs, they're planning to go in with 3 different seed types of plant. It's Bermuda, fescue, and I said zoysia, but he wouldn't. Yeah, that's not very good for feed. Ryegrass might, maybe. But they're gonna go ahead and cut down bush hog, turn up the soil, and then go ahead and plant it and just use it as a regular type of hay production. So that's my understanding.
With that farmer,
Yeah,
contracting with the farmer.
that's correct. Okay. That's all my committee has to report on.
Okay,
I believe you need to cover the Stanton Springs North Parkway maintenance bid award.
Well, I'm going to turn that over, you're right, I do, and I'm going to turn that over to Royce Rowell. Kevin's going to speak to it. So let Kevin go ahead and if you will, just go over your letter that you included in the packet.
Yes, sir, thank you. So we did solicit bids for maintenance projects on the Stanton Springs frontage road there. For grass cutting, edging, weeds, litter, all those different type of things to keep it maintained. We got bids back last Friday the 19th. Well, we got one bid back. We went through the public procurement process, sent it out across the website. We did get one bid back. It came in at $120,000 for a 1-year maintenance agreement with a 2.5% contingency on increase if we renew it for another year. We are actively checking with their references, making sure it's a fully responsive bid to the bid package, and subject to all that checking out, we will recommend approval to that company.
And it's my understanding this company is already doing some of the local sites, churches and other things like that around the area.
They're working within the area on some other, they work for the Piedmont Technical College, and then a couple home builder type work, doing some just HOA maintenance, mulching, things like that. So it is a local company. It's 5P Land Management. I believe they're out of Monroe. And so it is a local group. That so
With this
far,
contract, since it's mid-year, will it be prorated this year, or we do a year from when you sign to next?
it'd be, I think it starts in August. It would run till August next year.
Probably.
So do you need a motion to approve that amount and trade with this company?
And if he's not gonna do that, I will. Make that motion that we go ahead.
Go right ahead, Bob.
As a matter of fact, I'll make a motion that we go ahead and award a contract once Thomas and Hutton has finished all the vetting that they have to do to 5P Land Management LLC for $120,000 lump sum for 12 months to provide the maintenance on the project.
I second.
Okay, there's a motion by Mr. Hughes and a second by Mr. Thompson for approval, subject to subsequent due diligence on this company. And what is your schedule for final approval of the
August
due
1.
diligence?
Yes, sir, we basically were gonna finish making some calls, we called, their bond company, got all that information. We called one of their references yesterday, they had highly recommended them, so far our research has proven pretty well, so hopefully by the end of the week, I'm gonna speak to the company directly this week, and, hopefully by Friday we'll have a final recommendation, or final approval on that.
And Friday would be the,
Either, 26th.
26th. So it starts August
August
1.
1.
August 1 is what we have in the.
It needs to be cut right now.
That's what I was leading up to. Okay,
Yeah, as soon as we get the contracts issued and get everything back, all paperwork back, it'll probably take a week to get all that in line. Then it should line up pretty well for 1st of August to get them out there to start cutting.
that'd be great.
You put it out to bid.
I believe I heard that in the conversation, there was a 2% annual increase. We need to add that to the motion.
That's
That would be in the contract.
it's in the contract, it's in their bid form, and it's only if the JDA elects to renew it to them for another year.
So you put it out to bid, but nobody else bid?
Yes, sir, I think we sent it out to over, was it 1,300 companies had the code that we sent out with it.
And then Georgia procurement, and then we published it in the newspapers of each of the 4 counties twice.
It's a pretty big job. Edge it and keep it cut.
Yeah, not a lot of people probably want to do
A lot of grass.
So there's a motion and a second. We've had a little discussion. Is there any other discussion? If not, then we'll call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Hearing none, motion passes unanimously.
And now that.
Thank you, Mr. Hughes. And you had no new matters, I said.
That is correct.
Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to add under the parkway, just to follow up from our last meeting, the state did deed the parkway to the JDA as of July 8th. Walton County helped us out tremendously in getting signs made and put up within maybe 2 days of turnaround. And we were able to get each state to pave the 50-foot portion of Capacity Court within the same week that we got the deed signed by the governor. So all of that has come together since our last meeting.
Thanks to some pretty good legal project management there. And Walton County stepping forward to expedite that process of creating and installing signs.
They got it done when JBA asked it to be done by.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Okay, next would be Economic Development Committee, Mr. Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Stanton Springs activity, Bob covered the meta and the amendment for the utilities was there. Meta's still going wide open. The Newton Water and Sewer Authority doing a lot of infrastructure work in prepared to a water tank here. And that's about all I got to report on the activity. On the Stanton Springs activity. Since Shane's short here, we'll start with Walton County this time on the activity in the 4 areas. If he has anything to report, and we'll go to the other counties.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll reserve my comments for county business for executive session. But in Walton County, things are normal, nothing really new to report at this time.
All right, thank you. Mr. Chairman, since you're the only one from Newton here, I don't see Ms. Sarah here. Do you have anything to report on behalf of Newton County as far as?
I'm unaware of any new projects. I know there's a lot of activity going on.
Okay. Morgan County?
The only thing that I would like to report on is we did have a meeting, special meeting last night. Ms. Harts was there. So if anybody has questions, she can ask her and get an unbiased answer. But essentially, the mayor and council, they were looking at a zoning change for 3 different industrial properties. I we're going to change, drop C5, go with the new I1 and I2. They kick the can down the road, to use some of their language, and they basically have tabled that until August the 12th, I think it is, that they're going to vote on it. So it's essentially the same stuff that used to happen, but it wasn't codified. It is now going to be codified, and so we'll see where it goes.
All right. Thank you. And Jasper County?
Mr. Commissioner, I'm pleased to report that grading finally is beginning on our new 36-acre business park this week. We're excited about that and anticipate having about 80 businesses in that park. I'm also pleased to report that today we received our contract and now just need signatures on the sale of our last available industrial building. It will increase from 43,000 square feet to about 100,000 square feet. And then finally, we continue to make good progress with the expansion of existing industries. So things are going well in Jasper County.
Very well. Mr. Chairman, that concludes the Economic Development Committee report.
Thank you. Forgive me if I missed it, someone else covered it, but Jasper County also has an event scheduled for this Thursday.
Would you like
Do
to
you
talk
want
about
to
that?
talk about that briefly?
Yes, I would. I'm very pleased to talk about it. Vivian has agreed to be working with the Jasper County Charter School System this coming Thursday. They are conducting a Vivian Adventure Camp where they'll be bringing in a number of our students to talk with them about how you make an electric vehicle, what happens to the environment, what doesn't happen to the environment, what happens to the labor pool, what happens to the workforce. In other words, a good overall education about what this kind of development will mean for Jasper County. And then this fall, they're coming back again to conduct yet another adventure camp with our senior high school students. So we're very pleased and very happy with the tremendous support that we're receiving education-wise from Reading.
And the age group for this meeting Thursday?
I'm sorry, say again?
What is the age group for this meeting this Thursday?
This week we have 11 and 12-year-olds. So,
It's 8 or 11 years. Is that the elementary school?
yeah, yeah. So,
8 to 11.
oh, yeah. She was giving you the time, 8 until 11 o'clock.
That's ages in a while.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Jordan, Finance Committee Chairman.
If you turn to page 27 in your packet, we'll go over current balances. Balance in our tourist account, 33,000, money market, bank and balance in 7.6 million, checking account, project, 328,000, and then other money market account, 1.9 million. As you just heard, of this money's 1.5 million had been being held. That was money that was contingently given to us by Facebook. Now that has been released. So now we can deal with that and understand that's money that is at our discretion. I would remind you that 4.5 million of the money in the money market accounts is not part of the revenue sharing agreement. That was the fee on the bond validation. So those are the balance in the accounts. Does anybody got any questions on the balance in the accounts? The next several pages of the general ledger showing you all the income and expenses. That goes through page 51. So if you don't have any questions on that, take it as information and reference. Next would be the invoices. They start on page 52. First is an invoice from Smith, Gambrell, and Russell. Our land attorneys, $744, and the general explanation of that on the second page. There is the general representation bill from Andrea P. Gray LLC, which is comes to $6,585, which is very detailed, showing hours spent and the rate applied. Then there are two other invoices, and if you will notice, we have started breaking those invoices down into Stanton Springs North and Stanton Springs South. The first invoice, very detailed explanation, Stanton Springs North, $1,470. Stanton Springs South matters, $240. Those are both from Andrew P. Ray LLC. Next, you will see the two bills for the Moore property, one being $69.26, one being $37.45. That's for the electricity there at the Moore house, in addition to outside lighting. Next bill is from Allen Smith Consulting in regard to Project Adventure. That is a bill of $500. Then we have several bills here from Thomas and Hutton that are detailed. First bill being $5,685 with the details thereupon. The second bill being $9,394.50 with a breakdown of what is entailed in that bill. Then you have a bill for $2,190 and the following bill of $4,205 having to do with Rivian. And then a final bill of $920 has to do with surveying subdivision plat. So those are the bills from Thomas and Hutton. Other bills are our monthly fee to Cornerstone, that being $5,000 under contract. And then
Is that charged to Stanton Springs North or Stanton Springs South, prorated between the two?
Be y'all's choice.
Well, if they were not hired until the Rivian account come on, it should all be charged Stanton Springs North, I would think.
we have not specifically talked about how to divide that bill in finance committee. Perhaps next time we meet, we will get clarification on that.
All right, thank you.
Then the final bill from Walton County for the signage that you heard about, that's $1,236.70.
That is Stanton Springs North.
It is. So those are the invoices that we have and that we need to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, do we have a
Mr.
motion?
Chairman, I make a motion that we go ahead and approve those invoices.
Thank you, Mr. Hughes.
I'll do a second.
Mr. Ryden, second.
I just had one question. The Thomas, the Project Adventure, those are reimbursed?
They are.
Okay.
Well, not all of the ones submitted today are reimbursable. The one for assistance in doing the RFP for the mowing and maintenance is just a JDA expense.
Right.
And then the just general ongoing oversight of the site, we can submit to Rivian for reimbursement.
But some of the others are.
But the other
Correct.
three
The
are.
one that's not is the one she said.
If it says Project Adventures from the, or is that not accurate?
That's accurate.
That's okay, that's what I'm asking. That's what I'm asking. So I made a second, I second.
Okay, thank you for the second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Hearing none, motion passes unanimously.
Also, I'd like to call on Pat. We are trying to close out past fiscal year, and she will make some comments in regard to that, and we will take that up at the next meeting.
Yes. According to state law, you're required to have a balanced budget, and we've got a couple of line items that this time last year, when we were coming to come up with the June 24 budget, Webber said, no, things have changed, so we just were really gonna make some budget amendments, move some line items, not changing the total budget number, just move some where we're over here and under here. About 10 or 12 of them. And once we get all our final bills in, there could be some that, straggling over the next week or two, but we'll try to bring that
We
figure.
may have a finance committee meeting prior to the meeting next.
But if not, you just bring that to us next month.
It's coming next month.
That's pretty cut and dry, I mean, nothing to it.
Any other questions? Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Jordan. Okay, next item will be legal services agreement, Ms. Gray.
Except for the rate. Our rate has been $150 for the last 9 years. And so I brought that up to a rate to reflect the inflation over that time to be $200 an hour with the ability to increase it to reflect inflation as we go forward. I also noted in here the fact that I will be doing 3 separate invoices to track Stanton Springs North, South, and then just general representation. This is a 5-year agreement, but there's a 30-day termination clause in it as well. Be happy to answer any questions.
I move we accept the bid.
Okay, there's been a motion to accept. Is there a second?
I'd like to second.
Mr. Jordan, in honor of a second. Is there any discussion?
Is it automatically adjusted 3%? So when I call you and give you advice, I can charge you.
Sure, you can charge me.
So is it automatically adjusted 3% every year? or
It
is
does give me the right to automatically adjust.
It gives you the right.
Yes.
You may not
I may
necessarily.
not.
Okay. $200 is a pretty reasonable amount in considering what today's market is.
I would say it's a
That's my
bargain.
comment.
I would say it's a bargain also, but the quality we're paying for. Any other discussion? If not, we'll call for a vote of approval. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next item would be the quarterly report. Ms. Gray? The rules of decorum will be followed. Each speaker must state their name and address. Each speaker has 2 minutes, and there will be no yielding of time. This is not a question and answer session, and no response from the JDA is required. We'll take your comments into consideration and may reach out to you individually to discuss them further. The public is asked to refrain from making comments when not at the microphone, such as calling out, booing, clapping, using foul language, or causing other verbal or physical disturbances during the meeting. Our goal is to ensure that the meeting proceeds in a professional manner and that those of you who are speaking can be heard. The total time for comments will be limited to approximately 20 minutes. So, who would like to go first?
Hello, my name's Matt Bray, live on Hancock Drive, Walton County. I do want to express gratitude for the push in the mowing and maintenance of what's been an eyesore for going on about 3 years now. That is appreciated. That's finally being addressed. I didn't hear it mentioned, so I just want to ask, bring it to attention if it's not been already. There's still the dumpsters and trash sitting on the west side of Highway 278, just before the Morgan County line. It's just that little corner that's across 278 where the railroad is proposed to cross. That's still just nasty. It's not good for the community.
Thank you. Who would like to be next?
Speak.
Yes, sir.
My name is Terry Jackson. I'm with Under Threat Nation News on YouTube. I noticed that Chairman Banes is not missing. It's not in his seat. And I would like to know about your ethics, policy, or rules that you have in place. When you guys are under indictment or in trouble, what procedure that you have in place to remove those people out of those seats and appoint somebody in those seats? That's my question to this board. My next question is, since we got a surplus in this body, is there any way we can get this street out here paid? For the people here, so they're not around a dusty road. And I thank y'all for listening to me. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. So two items there. You want to call Mike on that second item, Andrew?
Sure.
I think I'll be able to help him do that. Can we get his name again?
Terry Jackson.
Terry Jackson. Thank you, Mr. Shutt.
Any other public comments? If not, we'll close the session of public comments. And the next item would be the executive session, land acquisition and litigation. Ms. Gray, do we have land acquisition and or litigation issues?
Yes, sir, we do.
Okay.